So I want to show you how to set up the AV suites with Josh today. First, we're going to start with a really basic setup, and then I'm going to show you a more advanced setup. So this here is the Josh website. You tap on the menu and then log in. It brings you right to the portal. As you guys know, portal is where you're going to do all your configuration. So this is loading the LA office. We've got some scenes, cameras, some lights and shades, music players, all sorts of stuff. But in the top right corner, if you tap your name and then distributed AV, this is going to show you how to set up a TV. In this case, it's showing the Sony XBR that it auto-discovered on the network. It's currently not set up, which is why you see this little blue question mark. And if we tap on it, we can go and configure it. So the first thing we'll do is define what room it's in. In this case, this is in the main area. And this is a pretty basic setup where the TV has a couple direct inputs. So add input, first an HDMI 3, we've got a Roku. In this case, it's going to be the Roku streaming stick. That's added. Now in the next input on HDMI 4, we have an Apple TV. Unfortunately, Apple TV is not currently IP controlled, so we set it up here as a custom device. So say Apple TV, to assign this as the main area, and hit save. The other thing that you can do once you've added that is you can add some nicknames. So if we tap on Apple TV, we can say maybe I want to watch Apple, or maybe even something like I want to watch iTunes. And so that's all it takes. With that set up, we can now control the TV. So now that we have that all set up, let me show you how it works. We've got a Josh Micro here, it's set up, it's labeled as being in the same room. So we could say things like, okay Josh, turn off the lights, close the shades, and turn on the TV.
Just a second. The main area lights are now off. Closing the shades. Powering on.
So it handles that. We can always link into content by saying something like, okay Josh, watch Ozark Season 2.
Now watching Ozark.
So it goes and finds it on Netflix, links right in. Of course, we can do the same thing with YouTube content. Okay Josh, turn on the lights and watch videos of skiing Telluride.
One moment. The main area lights are now watching videos of skiing Telluride.
So now that that's all set up, let me show you a more advanced setup. So if we switch over to this building here, we call Josh Office. Here we've got a little bit more going on. So what I'll do is I'll navigate over to the distributed AV section, and here you'll already see there's a lot more. Let me bring up the actual list of what we have. So in this office, it's a little bit more advanced. We've got a bedroom that has a Roku TV with a Blu-ray player. We've got a living room with an LG TV that goes to an Atlona matrix switcher. We've got Roku stick and DVD player going into that. The Atlona switcher also goes to a Sony receiver in the theater. And so we've got a lot going on. So let's set it up. First thing that we'll do is we'll go to the LG TV, which is right over here, and we'll say add input. So as we mentioned, the input for the LG TV happens to be the Atlona matrix switcher, which is plugged into HDMI 1. So we hit next, we see Atlona right there, hit save, and now the TV is all set up. It's basically all you need to do. Let's assign a room though. So the LG TV is in the living room, we'll assign it right there, and that's now good to go. Next thing that we can do is set up the Sony receiver. So if we go up here, the Sony receiver is going to be in the theater, so we'll assign it right there. In terms of the inputs, it's got a couple inputs. On the audio side, we have a Sonos Connect. And so select the Sonos, hit save, and that's going to be our audio input. The other input that we've got here is the Atlona matrix switcher, and that's going into video 1. So hit next. Atlona matrix switcher, and we're good to go with the inputs. In terms of the outputs here, we've got the Sony projector, so that's going to be the main HDMI. Hit next, and over here we've got the Sony projector. We also have as an audio output some speakers, so hit next. In this case, these are not going to be network speakers, and so we're saying that these are basically speakers in the theater. So you just select the room, hit save, And now we've got the main audio coming out of those speakers. So now we're good to go in terms of setting up that room. What we can do is go to the Atlona switch, and let's provide some inputs and outputs. So first thing is this is going to be in the tech closet. The inputs that we have here are going to be the Roku stick and HDMI 1. So hit Roku stick, save. And then over in HDMI 2, what we have is a DVD player. Because the DVD player is not a network device, it's a custom input. So we're adding DVD player, we're setting this up in the tech closet, hit save, and now the DVD player is going to be the second input. In terms of outputs for the Atlona Matrix switcher, this basically is just going over HDMI 1 to the LG TV. So we'll select that up here. Oh, actually, HDMI 1 is the LG TV, and we're still got HDMI 2 is going over to that Sony receiver. So we'll set that up there. So now we've got it set up with that. The last thing to set up here is going to be the, the Roku TV. So the Roku TV, as we mentioned, is in the bedroom. So assign the room. In terms of inputs, HDMI 1, we've got this Blu-ray player, which is a custom input. So we can type that in. In this case, it's directly plugged in, so we're going to label as being in the bedroom. And we select it. So we've got the input there. In terms of outputs for the Roku TV, it's just using internal speakers, so we can leave it how it is. And then on the Sony projector side, we just want to label that the input on HDMI 1 is going to be the Sony receiver. So hit save, and that's it. So now, if we go back to this distributed AV home, you'll notice we have a green check mark. This is showing that everything is online and configured, and that's all we need to do to set it up.